This week, there's been all kinds of new data from Valve. Some of it was entirely expected, but some of it was surprising. We'll talk about all of it. Plus, new updates on the beta front may shed some light on Valve's future plans for Steam. And Zelda Tears of the Kingdom leaks early and seems nearly playable on Steam Deck. We'll review everything we know. That's right, it's Steam Deck news time. The Steam hardware survey for April has dropped. It seems the overall Linux numbers stayed steady at 1.32% for total Steam users, SteamOS accounting for nearly 1/4 of all of them. SteamOS Hollow is at 22.7%, Ubuntu 2204 is at 10.84%, Arch Linux is at 9.79%, Flatpak Runtime is at 7.61%, Manjaro Linux is at 6.25%, Linux Mint 21.1 is at 4.97%, Pop! OS 2204 is at 3.86%, and Other is at 33.9%. Now, these numbers are identical to the numbers we saw last month after a somewhat squirrely March. Here's to hoping that we see Linux numbers continue to climb throughout the rest of the year. And speaking of Linux numbers, this week, Valve published April's top 20 most played games on deck. What immediately jumps out is last month's indie darling Dredge has landed itself at 9th place in the top 10. That is impressive for only releasing about a week ago. The Resident Evil 4 remake didn't even crack the top 10 during the week it released. That, however, has changed since Resident Evil 4 Remake is now sitting comfortably at 5th place on deck. And considering this AAA title is not part of the seeming plague of bad PC ports, which is something that we discussed in our Press Steam to Start podcast last week, it makes complete sense to see it up so high. Conversely, Dead Cells has had a steep fall from 8th in March to 20th in the last month, most likely due to people being done with the Castlevania DLC and not anything else to do with like the quality of the game. It's fantastic. As always, Vampire Survivors and Elden Ring occupy 1st and 2nd place in the list, as these two titles will never seemingly leave the top 3 on deck. I would love to know what you think about any of this. Is your favorite game in this list? Or alternatively, what game did you play the most last month? Leave me a comment and let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. And while you're down there, why not like that smash button? It's the best way to let YouTube know that you want to see more videos just like this one. You can also subscribe if that's more your speed. Now, I want to give a special shout out to WebFreak for his sustained high-level support of the show. It's because of WebFreak and the 73 other folks that I'm able to continue keeping the lights on here, and Lord knows we have a lot of lights. If you'd like to get your name listed over here, you can use the links below to become a channel member. It's all greatly appreciated. There are now over 9,000 verified and playable games on Steam. As of recording this video, there's exactly 9,029 titles. That's a pretty huge milestone as it accounts for just shy of 20% of all the games available on Steam. And while some detractors may decry 20% as an unacceptably low number, the fact is that that's just the games that have been ranked as verified or playable. There's nothing stopping you from playing unverified or even quote-unquote unsupported games. Valve's only about 23% of the way through all of the games on Steam, and there are still plenty of games that haven't yet been rated that work perfectly well on the deck. In the coming months, we're going to hit 10,000. It's kind of inevitable. So do you think we should do something to celebrate that milestone? Leave me a comment and let me know your ideas. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. All right, next up, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom has been leaked, and you know what that means. Someone has already tried emulating it on the deck. We're 10 days away from the actual game's launch, so be careful out there. You may encounter spoilers online, but there are no spoilers in this video. In a now deleted post, Reddit user Unknown Type Beat says that they got Tears of the Kingdom running at between 15 and 20 FPS in Ryujinx, or RyuGNX. I don't know how to pronounce it. I think RyuGNX is supposed to be how it's pronounced. They did note that they were running with cryo utilities set to 4 GB. Now, this doesn't sound like a ringing endorsement for emulating the game on the Steam Deck at launch, but truthfully, a game as big and as new as Tears of the Kingdom running at all under emulation pre-launch is pretty freaking huge. I mean, in context, if you dared to run the Switch version of Breath of the Wild instead of the Wii U version, people would actually throw hands at you for not actually playing the game in CEMU. The fact is, Switch emulation for Breath of the Wild is not great. So having a commercial emulator capable of running Tears of the Kingdom without the emulator's developers even having created title-specific performance fixes like they do with practically all other games, that's amazing. What's more is that we still don't know how Tears of the Kingdom will perform on native hardware. Ethan Gatch at Kotaku reports a mix of opinions. Some saying their experience playing the game hands-on were fine, others were mixed, and some cited major performance issues. This was all in docked mode, so I do suspect the game will drop to the low 20s in frame rates in some areas of the game, or if someone sticks to too many objects together with the Ultra Hand ability. Suffice it to say, I think we can all agree that if you're going to be playing Tears of the Kingdom, it'd be pretty awesome to do it on Steam Deck. Now, as we talked about in Monday's Deck News video, the Steam Deck beta client has a redesigned Steam UI for desktop. Now, this move was done to bring the various Steam user interface paradigms into sharper focus, modernizing them and unifying the codebase. For example, the Steam Desktop client, Big Picture Mode, Steam Deck Game Mode, and Steam VR now all use the same user interface elements, and it'll be much easier for Valve to add and maintain features across the various user experiences. With that being the case, there have been 2 Steam Deck beta clients since Monday. The first has had several fixes for desktop mode, as well as some interesting new features for Steam Input. The most notable was that virtual menus now work in the desktop overlay. This is exciting, as before, the only way that you could use virtual menus was if you were using Big Picture Mode or you were playing on Deck. The question is, why are they adding this feature? Now, if I let my hopes get the best of me, I'd have to say it's because Valve are going to debut some new Steam controller. But realistically, this is just to accommodate people who have Windows on their deck, or for folks who are going to be picking up the ROG Ally. This new desktop overlay feature should mean that players who aren't launching into Big Picture Mode will still get all the benefits of Steam Input. Then, on Tuesday, Valve released another beta client update. First, they implemented a find bar for searching within a web page. Then, they added a product name for the Activate a Product dialog for successful activations. And then they fixed several issues, including the controller calibration window and some visual alignment problems. Overall, this has been a good roster of fixes and changes for the deck. I'm pleased to see such a lineup of improvements after Valve has returned from vacation. Well, I think that's going to do it for now. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to share your thoughts on any of the stories that we talked about in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I want to thank the 74 folks over on Patreon, my YouTube members, and my ViewSync Premium subscribers who make what I do here a reality. It's because of these folks that I'm able to continue making videos just like this. If you believe in the work that I'm doing and you'd like to get one of the rewards like your name listed over here, you can support the show with a monthly contribution using the links below. It's all greatly appreciated. Again, thank you so much for spending your time here with me today, and I'll see you in the next one.